It's Friday, which means it's time to deploy. Jim is not here today. I have Jim 2.0, otherwise known as Matt Allford. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks, John. How about yourself?
Good, good. How was your week?
They all seem to be busy, but in a good way. So the sun's shining. It's a little bit crisp outside, but I can't complain too much. So yeah, it's been a fun week. Lots of stuff still going on, and lots to look forward to as well. How about
Yeah,
yours?
down here in Australia, it's winter time. So for those folks who are wondering, like, why are you so cold? It's hot here. It's not. It's actually our winter. So there you go. And Matt's down in Tasmania, which is just south of the mainland, and it gets especially cold down there.
Yeah, sure does. I've had frost on the car a few times already, so I need to finish clearing out the garage and get the car back inside, which will be nice. So yeah.
There you go. I don't know how to segue from that to the news, but let's just go ahead and do it anyway. So this is a blog post from Orly, who is a member of our ELT. This is a blog post entitled "Our New Leadership Code." So we actually published this as part of our handbook, and it's basically the leadership code. It's not a checklist. It's basically a shared language that help leaders in Octopus Deploy align, collaborate, and preserve the culture that we have. And as we expand, we want that culture to remain consistent. And so we came up with the leadership code, which basically reflects the values like trust and humility and clarity amongst all the other things that we do. And our aim is to basically support thoughtful leadership across all levels. And so we built this through a lot of self-consultation and a lot of discussion. And it's based around these 5 guiding principles we have. And the reason why I mention this here is because we have a video. And if you're all curious about how we do things at Octopus, highly check this out. I encourage you to check this out. It really does reflect our culture. And I think it's a great sort of example of some of the things that you would see here at Octopus. Incidentally, it also is showing off our new nav bar, our all-white nav bar. So there you go. This is the white chocolate sort of version of our nav bar. There you go. It used to be dark. Now we're getting a little bit light there. So Matt's thoughts on this?
Yeah, one of the things that really inspired me and I really liked about Octopus coming from the outside in was just the transparency and the openness around things like this, around what happens in the company and what the leadership team are doing, how they think and how they operate. So I love this level of transparency, and the external public facing handbook speaks to that as well. So yeah, same as John, I encourage you to go and check it out. There's a lot of value in this post and in the handbook itself as well, as to how Octopus works and what the culture's like as well.
Yeah, you'll find it up at handbook.octopus.com, and it's actually it's listed right there. And if you click on that, it's just basically a similar sort of reflection of what we have in the blog post. But the handbook we've had available for years now, and Matt saw this when he was thinking of joining us, and it kind of goes into all the sorts of things that it's what it's like working at Octopus. So there you go. That's the handbook there. All right, moving right along, we're going to go to a blog post written by Matt. So, Matt, why don't you take us through this one? What GitOps changes about elevated access?
Yeah, excellent. So this is my first post that's gone out. So there's a few more in the works. So get ready for those. But I was really excited to write this one. And this was an interesting topic because we're going through the State of GitOps report, which we'll come to in a moment, and doing a lot of surveying and studying and research about GitOps and how people are adopting it and how they're using it. And one of the things that fell out as I was going through reviewing the State of GitOps was about elevated access and whether users who have adopted GitOps principles think that using GitOps reduces elevated access to their target environments. And there's the graph there that John's showing. And it was quite interesting to see that those that are at different levels of maturity with their GitOps adoption have different thoughts around whether it does or not. So in this post, I just wanted to go ahead and unpack that idea further and sort of think about why different people of different maturities might think that. And there are times if you're using the perfect GitOps model and using all of the things that the 4 principles that the GitOps Foundation sort of came up with, the idea is that everything's done through Git, but then you don't need to log into your target infrastructure for anything. But then the thinking sort of then moves to, if anyone can commit and make changes to Git, does that effectively mean that they've still got access to those target environments just in a different way? So it's just about things to consider as you shift into or start utilizing GitOps principles, and where your security and and your thinking about how you're securing your infrastructure and accessing your infrastructure needs to change, because you need to have really good fundamental operations with Git before you start moving into GitOps, to make sure that you're doing all the right things with pull requests and access controls in your Git repositories, because that can flow onto your target environments. So just a few different ideas that were unpacked during that blog post, and it was really fun to get into that one.
So just to clarify, this chart here reflecting the score as the y-axis, and the what is the x-axis here reflecting?
The x-axis is the responses, so whether those responders agreed whether GitOps reduces elevated access. So it was agree is the light color on the left-hand side, neither agree nor disagree is the sort of purple in the middle, and then disagree is the dark purple color that's shown
I
there.
got it. So these are a combination out of 100 of that percentage of whom are highly mature. For example, a large chunk of them, approximately 75% of them, agree that GitOps does reduce elevated access. Is that how I'm reading this?
That's correct, yeah. And we do have a small update to this graph, and all of the graphs actually that are going away on the left-hand side from showing a score to instead showing their adoption and their maturity of GitOps, to make that a bit clearer as well. So there will be a small update to this post coming out just to make that graph a bit clearer. But what was interesting when you look there at the top one, those high performers with GitOps, is that more of them seem to disagree. And that's one of the thoughts that I unpacked during this is because they have got a high level of maturity with using GitOps, and their considerations maybe went from, okay, that's fine that we don't need to, it reduces elevated access to the target infrastructure, but does it then change how we need to secure Git and controllers like Argo CD and role-based access control within other toolings that are now within the GitOps process, rather than just saying, oh, we need to worry about our target infrastructure. It's about stepping back and looking at it holistically as well.
Yeah, I would kind of expect that as you go through your process of adopting GitOps, that you would fall within that range of the histogram where you have pretty much a bell curve, assuming it's on the extremes where you, I would assume, have the agree and disagree. But here you can see that most folks fall into that agree category, which is kind of what you want as they evolve in their maturity level. This is all part of the State of GitOps report, which I guess we should probably mention. So what is this?
This is, I'm really excited about this. This is almost ready for publication, I think. And on the page that John's on now, you can go ahead and sign up. So Octopus Deploy have done some excellent research. I think we got 600 or 700 respondents at the moment to the surveys that went out. And Steve Fenton has done some amazing work analyzing the data that came back in and has produced the State of GitOps report. So this goes through all of the elements that came through that survey in terms of where adoption is at, what people are doing, how they're using GitOps, where their maturity is, the different verticals that they're in. There's a whole heap of excellent information in here. And when I was, like I said, when I was going through doing a review of it, that's where just one of those ideas fell out to expand a bit further. So if you're thinking about utilizing GitOps in your organization, or maybe you already are, I think there's going to be an extremely good amount of information in here for you, and really valuable information. One of the things that I really like about it as well is that there's some actionable information in there about what we believe the practices are to focus on for adopting GitOps and then maturing your GitOps strategy as well. So there's some key takeaways in there that you can take and then put into practice in your environment.
Awesome stuff. And I assume we're going to be dropping this sometime soon because we actually have a webinar scheduled for June 19th. So Steve and Dan Garfield are going to be joining me. We have to update this because we just secured Dan to, he was voluntold that he's going to be on this basically, but it's hard to keep Dan away from a conversation regarding GitOps. But we're going to be presenting the key findings and what it means for you on June 19th. So this is going to be a webinar that's hosted by myself, Steve, and Dan. So make sure to sign up for that. We think this is going to be a very popular webinar where we'll be basically highlighting the key features of the report, and you'll be able to obviously check it out there. We may or may not give away some free certifications from learning.codefresh.io. Who knows? But definitely check it out. Make sure to sign and save your seat now. Sign up for that. And that's available at octopus.com/webinar. webinars. And you may notice at the bottom, we also have Argo Unpacked. It is not remiss for me to mention the fact that episode 8 is coming up. We're going to have Jan, who's going to be joining Dan and Revital, talking about all things Argo. Obviously, this is on June 2nd. You can join live, or you can find out, you can find the recording of this after the fact up on our CodeFresh YouTube channel. And lastly, but not leastly, I would like to mention that we actually have a subreddit. So for those folks who are aware, you'll know that this has been available for a long time. But for those who haven't, Octopus Deploy actually has a subreddit, and we've been actually posting a lot more items to this. And so if you're at all keen, you can go check out /r/Octopus Deploy, and we'll be posting all kinds of updates there. We post all our, obviously, webinars and videos that we do. Anything that mentions Octopus or anything that's related to continuous delivery, etc., we'll mention there. So make sure to check that out. Like and subscribe, join, do whatever the kids do. I'm one of the moderators. Matt, we're going to make you a moderator, so you'll be able to obviously approve or deny posts that come in. But make sure to join the community here. We'd love to see you. And that, as they say, wraps it up for this edition of Deployment Friday, episode 99. Hey, we're almost at 100. Maybe we'll get some hats for 100. Who knows? But Jim sends his best. And any final thoughts, Matt, before we wrap up?
I just said I think that we need to bake a cake or something for 100. That's a big milestone. So maybe we'll have to organize something early next week. Yeah,
maybe we'll see if I can expense a muffin or something like that. We'll see.
That's right.
But anyways, nevertheless, we will see you on the next one, everyone. Take care. From all of us to you, happy deployments.